So I've been lucky enough to be sent a new DualSense Edge controller from PlayStation for a review, and I've never owned a Pro controller before, so I'm very excited to get into this video. Now for me, I always was generally very happy with the standard controller, so I don't have any experience with any Pro controllers, and also this video will not be me comparing the DualSense Edge to other Pro controllers because I don't really have any experience. This video will be for people like myself who have never used a Pro controller before but are considering the DualSense Edge based on how much they like the standard DualSense. So a very cool and neat presentation. I like the box and the case that it comes with. The controller itself has a number of immediate differences to it, such as there's rubber grips on the inside of the controller now, and the touchpad has little PlayStation symbol imprints on it now. The front part is also very glossy, so that's a big bit of a change, so hopefully we'll get some faceplates and we'll be able to customize that. Other than that, there's some function buttons below the triggers, but it still has the same good weight and feel to it as the standard controller, but you do immediately notice all the extra features that we now have on it. So getting into the case contents, we have the 4 mushroom top sticks that are a lot like how the PS3 controller was, and they're very easy to replace on this. You don't even need to take anything apart, they just pop off. I'm going to show you that a little bit later. There's a lock for the USB and a supplied longer USB-C braided cable. One little extra feature here that I really like is the L2 and R2 are imprinted with the PlayStation symbols. It makes it easier to grip. So there's 4 extra thumbsticks that are provided on top of the standard ones that just come on the controller, which is the standard ones as the DualSense. Now the 2 mushroom sticks are different lengths, so one will sit higher up on the controller. Now swapping them out is very easy. You don't even have to take anything else off. It just requires a gentle pull and it will pop right off. Inserting the new ones is just as easy. Just insert and give it a little twist and then push down, and it's a pretty simple process to do. And pressing the release button on the back of the controller will cause the faceplate to pop off, and from here you can remove the thumbsticks and swap them out. Just lift the silver handle and you can slide them out to swap them, and it's very easy just to slot them back in, close the silver handle and then pop the faceplate back on. Now the next feature I think has been the best besides from the back buttons, and that's the ability to control the trigger lengths of the L2 and R2 using these. So as you can see here, there's a full length press and you basically have to go all the way down to achieve the effect of pressing L2 and R2. So if you're in shooting games and you're aiming, you have to hold down L2 the whole way. But now with these triggers just at the very back, you can just change these buttons. You can control the length of the actual trigger. You can see that that's the very maximum I'm able to pull it down. But in a game, it will still register as a full L2 or R2 trigger. So it's very handy. You can see how much effort you have to put in just to get a full one versus a half one like this. I think it makes a big difference in Destiny, which is something that I play quite a lot. So I'm really happy with that. It's almost the same level of push as you would need for an L1 to the L2 there. So there's a big difference. I know a lot of people switch their shooters to L1 and R1 because of that, so that's really helped me. So the reset button is located at the back here, just between the back triggers here, and I'm going to show you the 2 triggers that I like using. It's the kind of the paddle ones, so it makes it very easy to reach back and just perform it when you have your fingers holding on the controller at the very bottom. Now inserting them in is as easy as everything else with the controller. They pretty much just slot in, and it feels like there's a little magnetic thing, so they kind of take to it very easily, and they sit very comfortably down at the bottom. There's no issues at all with them being loose or anything like that. They feel very sturdy and responsive. So they also come with these button style back attachments that are more just like a press. I haven't used them too much. I'm more of a fan of the actual paddles because it reaches down easier, so you can kind of grip it with more hands. But they are supplied and they're quite good. I can see them maybe being used in racing games and stuff like that. So now when you connect the DualSense Edge to the PlayStation for the first time, you're going to go through a little tour that basically just kind of recaps everything that I've been through and the custom button assignments and how you can swap them using the function button. So I've already created and I've been using two different profiles on this, and you can swap between them with the function button. This is basically what appears on your PlayStation, and if you press function and circle, I have it set for Destiny, and function and X, it's basically set for Monster Hunter. So the DualSense Edge gets its own setting in the actual settings, and this is where you can set the custom profiles. Now I can show you my two profiles. So I have one set for Destiny. The custom button assignment that I have set at the very bottom is L3 and square. So L3 is responsible for sprinting, and the square is for reloading and interacting and reviving people in Destiny. So by having that set to the two back buttons, it relieves a huge amount of pressure off my fingers with having to go to square, having to use it so much in the game, but also having to actually press down L3 to sprint. So one thing I will be honest about the DualSense Edge that I found is the battery life of it, and to be honest, it doesn't seem any better or worse than the regular DualSense controller, which is a bit strange considering the price of it and also the kind of moniker of having an actual pro controller. I was actually quite surprised because the initial reports I had heard on social media and on Twitter said that it was a smaller battery and therefore it could actually be smaller battery life. I was a bit concerned about that when I had it in my head if I wanted to buy it or not. Luckily I got the review copy of it and I've been using it for the last few days, and I think it lasts just as long as the normal DualSense controller. So if you're used to that battery life, this is probably what you're going to get as well. So you can expect the same amount of battery life as a normal DualSense. That's at least my experience with it anyway. So as I mentioned before, I only ever use standard controllers, and I played Destiny quite a lot, and this controller has been a fantastic addition to every time I'm playing Destiny and do my raids and the nightfalls and everything and the seasonal content that comes along. So it's been a massive, and Destiny is also kind of customizable, and I set the mapping so that I could bring out my Sparrow and basically bring it out and control the boost by the back pedals, and it makes a big difference on top of the reviving, the reloading and the interacting that you do with square, and the kind of relief of the pressure of having to press L3 every 10 seconds in the game. The controller makes a huge difference if you play first person shooters in that respect. So I have some footage here from a Grandmaster Nightfall. Now this is something I had always done on the standard controller. Basically if someone went down, I was able to aim and shoot while also holding square very awkwardly by using my thumb to do it and my fingers at the back. But now with the controller, it's very easy just to basically run up to someone and hold L2 and R2 and shoot a very important enemy, like this barrier here that was attacking my friend in a Grandmaster, and use the back pedal that I then hold square to get him back in the action while also concentrating on the offensive as well. So I was still able to do it on a standard controller, but because I'm usually a very good player at Destiny, so I'm able to manage those things in the heat of the moment. But with the back pedals added on the DualSense Edge controller, it's just been so easy and so much more comfortable to, even in a Grandmaster, which is the highest level content in Destiny that you can do besides some raids. You feel a lot more confident when you're backing up your teammates and you're trying to, you know, get your fire team back up. Now another thing it's enabled me to do very easily in Destiny is that some Destiny weapons have basically an alternative shooting mode. And one weapon that I've loved since the very first time I ever played Destiny back on Destiny 1 on PS4 has been the Vex Mythoclast. So I love it a lot, and in Destiny 2 it basically has a linear function, a linear fusion rifle function, where basically if you hold square you can charge it and shoot as a linear shooter like this, and that's much easier to do with a back pedal. And there's a lot of other weapons that have kind of alternative firing modes that are involve holding down the square button. So like I said, the back button just enables me to do that very easily. So in short, to be honest, I love the controller. I don't think I could be without it. It's mainly influenced because I played Destiny and a lot of other shooters. Like I've been playing Resident Evil Village at the moment, and I also play Modern Warfare 2 as well. So it's such a critical part to improving your normal gameplay in ways that you probably never would have imagined if you were still on a standard controller like I was. And it can basically be summarized up by my friend Shingo Bingo, who asked me, I think on my second night of using it, he basically said, you know, if it broke in the morning, would I go out and buy one if I liked it? And the answer is yes, definitely. After using it for so much, I do not play Destiny on my other controllers. This is my controller for Destiny. I don't think I could ever go back to playing a first-person shooter as seriously as I do Destiny without a pro controller like this as some form. So I know there's a lot of other pro controllers out there. I'm very excited to maybe get my hands on something else and try do a review of that. But for the moment, and with the DualSense itself being my favorite controller of all time, this has just been the most perfect addition to it. And I absolutely love it, and I'd recommend it to anyone that plays shooters or has the means to be able to get it, because I think it's definitely worth it, and I'm very grateful to be able to get one sent out and to do a review. And thanks for watching the video as well. If you have any comments or anything like that, feel free to leave it below and I'll reply back. But thanks for watching the video.